Hi, welcome to my video on review number 3 in the unit on logs and natural logarithms. And this video or review is on the videos numbers 20 to 24. And as in all reviews, you can treat it as a quiz where you give yourself some marks for each question, total up the pages. And when you do, put it over 62, divide 62 into this number, get a decimal, move your decimal 2 places to the right to get a percent. Here we go. Number 1, evaluate. Evaluate 81 to the power of 1/2 e ln 2 raised to the -1. So let's do the exponent. So we got 1/2 e, and that's ln 2 to the -1 is 1/2, and e to the ln of a half is 1/2, and 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4, and that's the 4th root of 81, which is 3. Or you could go 81 is 3 to the 4th to the 1/4, and you're multiplying so the 4's cancel, so you get a 3. So we have 4 marks, 1, 2, 3, 4 total. Number 2, solve for x in terms of e. The ln of e to 3x plus e equals e to the ln of 2x plus 11e, and the ln of e to this power means that you have 3x plus e, and e to a ln, that means you have -2x plus 11e. So the ln of e to this power is this expression, and e to this expression, it gives you that. So we have 3x plus 2x equals 11e minus e. 5x equals 11 minus 1 is 10. Divide by 5, x equals 2e. And we have 4 marks, so if you have this one and this one, you get 2 marks. If you have this solved here, you get a mark, and if you have final answer, 4 in total. Number 3, solve for x exact value with ln. So we have to solve with an ln. So notice we have e to the -x. So we multiply this one by e to the x. We multiply this expression by e to the x, and we multiply this one by e to the x. So e to the x times e to the x is e to the 2x, because we add the exponents with the same base, -4 e to the x, and e to the -x times e to the x, that gives me e to the 0, which is 1, so we just get 5 times 1 is 5. And now we go e to the 2x minus 4e to the x minus 5 equals 0. So notice we have e to the x in the middle. This is e, so we're going to let e to the x equal a. So we have e to the 2x is a squared minus 4a minus 5 equals 0. So we have a quadratic, so we'll factor. A squared is a and a. Factors of 5 are 5 and 1. Product is -5. Sum is -4. So -5 plus 1. So a minus 5 equals 0. Or a plus 1 equals 0. So go up here. So a equals 5. Or a equals -1. So we have e to the x equals 5, and e to the x equals -1. So e to the x equals 5, so we'll do right here, we have ln e to the x equals ln 5. So x ln e equals ln 5. The ln of e is 1, so x times 1 is x. ln 5. E to the x equals -1. Any power, e to any power can't be a negative. It got to be greater than 0. So that's a no. So the answer x is ln 5. So if you have this equation, you get 1 mark. If you have this one, you get a mark. If you let e to the x equals a and changes to this, and there you have it factored, and then you have these two answers, which is 5 and a -1. The 5 works, so you get an answer, and the -1 don't work, so 7 marks altogether if you have x equals ln 5. Now number 3b, we need, notice x is in the exponent, so e to the 6x minus 12 equals 7. We want the exact value of x with ln, so we'll do the ln of each side. Done. X, the power moves in front. And we have ln e is 1, so 6x minus 12 equals ln 7. And we're solving for x, so 6x equals 12 plus the ln of 7. Now I moved the 12 in front of the ln because I didn't want to move it on the back, because you would think that'd be the ln of 7 plus 12, which would be 19. So I moved the 12 in front. Now we're going to divide by 6. So 6 into 12 goes 2. And 6 into ln 7 is 1/6 ln 7. And so we have the final answer. And x is in exact value in terms of a ln done. So we have, if we did this 1 mark, and did this one as a mark, and did each of these as a mark. 5 marks in total. Total up your page, and it's out of 20. Hopefully everything is going well. And we have another question. Solve for x. We have ln of x squared minus 10 minus the ln of x plus 1 equals the ln of 6. We have lns on left and right, so we'll reduce or simplify each side to a ln. So this is x squared minus 10. The subtraction of 2 lns is a division. So the subtraction is a division, so it's x squared minus 10 divided by x plus 1. Now we got the ln, single ln on each side, so that means x squared minus 10 over x plus 1 equals 6. We put it over 1, cross multiply. We get x squared minus 10 equals 6 times x is 6x, 6 times 1 is 6. We have a quadratic, so we move it all terms to the left side in descending order. And so we have x squared minus 6x minus 16 equals 0, quadratic, so we'll try to factor or use the quadratic formula. X squared is x and x, factors of 16. Factors of 16 are 16 and 1, 8 and 2, and 4 and 4. 8 and 2 gives you 6, and product is negative and sum is negative, so it's a -8 plus 2. So x minus 8 equals 0, x plus 2 equals 0, x is equal to 8, x is equal to -2. And we sub back in, we put we put 8 here, so 8 squared is 64, minus 10, positive. Put an 8 here, 8 plus 1 is 9, positive, so looks like that's okay. And we put a -2 right here, we get the ln of a -1, can't do it, so that's a no. So the answer, x equals 8. And we have 7 marks, so 1 there, 1 there, and go right down to here and we cross multiply and simplify. We're here, we factor, and you get into getting these two answers be simplified right to here. And now we have it factored and solved, so we get 1 each. for each. We checked it out, so we got that one. That one's a 7 altogether. Now, I give the marks at a 7 because sometimes if you don't get the final answer comes at the end of 8 and -2, but the working through is also, you get credit. Some teachers mark that way, and some teachers don't, but most teachers do give credit for working partly way through. Solve for x in terms of e. We have a ln on one side but not on the other, so we'll simplify. So ln of x plus 2, and 1/3 goes to the power, so it's the ln of 8x cubed to the 1/3 power. And 16 to the half is the square root of 16, which is 4. So it is the ln of x plus 2, and the cube root of 8x cubed. The cube root of 8 is 2. Cube root of x cubed is x, equals 4. And the sum of two logs is the log of the product. So it's 2x times x plus 2 equals 4. And we're trying to solve in terms of e. So we can expand this if you want to get x squared plus 2x, x squared plus 4x, and that's in brackets. And now we change ln to log base e. And base exponent number. Now we want to solve this for x, but we got a quadratic. So what I'm going to do is divide by 2. So I get, divide by 2, I get a half e to the 4th. Divide by 2, I get x squared. Divide by 2, divide 4 by 2, I get 2. So I divide it by 2. So now I have x squared plus 2x. But what we're going to do, we're going to complete the square. So a half of 2 is 1, 1 squared is 1. So we'll add 1 to each side. That makes this a perfect square trinomial, whose factorization is, again, that's x plus 1 times x plus 1. So by taking a half of this middle term and squaring it, we made it a perfect square trinomial, so that means it's x plus 1 all squared. And that means that x plus 1 square root is plus minus the square root of a half e to the 4th plus 1. The square root of, put a bracket there, the square root of x plus 1 squared is x plus 1. Just write this down again. Those are plus minus. So x is equal to plus minus square root of a half e to the 4th plus 1. Bring the 1 over and make it a minus 1. So that's the value of x for this question. Again, the question is a little tiny bit different. I want to make a problem different. So you have to know your math on the quadratics to complete the square here to get the, because you got an x squared and x, so I had to complete the square. Good little problem. And again, there's 8 marks. So if you have this simplified to here, you get a mark. If you have a product of 2, you get a mark. And if you got e to the 4th, first here, you get a mark. And you complete the square. You divide by 2 and complete the square. So you get a mark. And there should be. And you do the square root, and you get the final answer. So 8 marks altogether, so judge for yourself. And if missing a mark, then you can give 2 marks at the end. So add up your score. Hopefully you have 15. Again, 5 is a different question, so a little bit different. But that's why when you do your math, to know the background is important. Because math, as you do more math, it builds on the prerequisites that you learned earlier. Number 6, find the value of t to the nearest 100. So t is an exponent, so I got to do a ln. So I'll divide by 80. So e to the 0.6 t. 80 into 1600 is a 20. Now we'll do the ln of each side. And the power rule, decimal 6t ln e. The ln of e is 1, so we get 0.06t equals ln 20. So t is equal to the ln of 20 divided by 0.06. And that works out to be 11.552 when you do your calculator. And so we want it to the nearest 100. So the answer is 11.55. So you've seen that just question done before, but just to reinforce, because I use ln instead of log to bring the exponent in front. And we have 7 marks, so if you've got this one, you have 7, you did the ln, you got a mark. If you wrote it as the power, so each of these steps are, I made it up, 1 mark for each step as you work your way down through. Number 7, what is the annual interest rate if $7,500 earns $1,900 after 14 years? The interest is earned exponentially, and we want to express it, express as a percent, interest rate as a percent. So we have A equals AOE. We can use R or K, your choice. We can say R. Again, the R and K are just a rate. And we have the initial is $7,500 growing to $1,900. Or $19,000, so 7,500 growing to 19,000 E, and we're looking for the interest rate, which is the R, and in 14 years. So if we divide 1,900 divided by 7,500, that cancels, so we get E to the 14R, and this works out to be 2.533 when you divide. Notice I went down to the thousands place because the further down you go, the more accurate your answer is going to be. So we'll do the ln of each side. And by the power rule, 14R moves in front. The ln of e is 1, so that's 14R equals ln of 2.533. And we divide by 14, so the ln of 2.533 divided by 14. So R comes out to be, when you do that on your calculator, you get 0.066. And we want it as a percent, so R is 6.6%. And we have 9 marks, so if you have this equation here, you get 2 marks. If you have this one, you get a mark. 2, you get a mark. So each step here, you get a mark. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 in total. 16 for this page. Hopefully everything is going well. And we have one more question, and it's the question that we have on the temperature cooling. A liquid has a temperature of 90 degrees. When placed in a container with a constant temperature of 30, the temperature of the liquid after 8 minutes is 70 Celsius. To the nearest minute, after how many minutes will the temperature be 40? Well, there's a formula that it's the temperature of the liquid is the original temperature minus the temperature of the container, the medium that is in, and a lot of books use EKT or RT, you can have R or K, plus the temperature of the container temperature. So I'm counting the container to go with, but some books say medium. Medium could be in a room, could be anywhere, could be outdoors, could be anywhere, the medium. But the temperature is constant. So what happens, the temperature of the liquid, we want the temperature of the liquid is the constant temperature, well, we put that one in. The temperature of the original temperature is 90. The temperature of the container is 30. E, and the temperature of the container is 30. So we, after 8 minutes, that's time, so it's K, and time. The temperature is 70. So notice that you have 90 minus 30 because the container is in got 30. So if the temperature is 90 and it's 30, that means there's only a cooling of 60 degrees. So there's the cooling. So if you let K or T be 0 in this question, if you let T be 0 in the original equation, then this becomes 60. 60 plus 30 gives you the 90 that we started off with originally. So again, 30, 60 plus 30 gives you 90. But right now, we got to figure out what is the cooling rate. Because we have time, 8, we need the cooling rate. So we subtract 70, subtract 30, gives us 40. And divide by 60. 60 cancels, e to the 8k equals, so zeros cancel, 4 over 6 is 2/3. I could also go decimal 66666, repeating, but we'll do the ln of 2/3, the ln of e to the 8k, the ln of 2/3 equals 8k ln e, the ln of 2/3 is equal to, the ln of e is 1, so it's 8k. So k is the ln of 2/3 divided by 8. So remember, 2/3 is decimal 6666. So the ln of 2/3 divided by 8. So k comes out to be a negative 0.05. Again, it's cooling, so it makes sense that the k is going to be negative. Now, we take the equation, take this equation again, and we write it down. Oops. And now that we have the rate, it says to the nearest minute, after how many minutes will the temperature be 40? So we're going to looking for time now. So the temperature is 40. So it's a 90 minus 30. And we're looking for time. So the rate, we could say this is negative 5% or 5%, but I left it as a decimal. So it's negative 0.05 T, and the temperature of the container is 30. So we subtract here. So 40 subtract 30 is 10. 90 subtract 30 is 60. And divide is 10 divided by 60. 10 over 60 is, I rolled it out, but I could have saved myself some time by, there's a T. So that's 1/6, zeros cancel. I get e to the negative 0.05 T. Do the ln of 1/6, ln e to the negative 0.05 T, and the ln of 1/6, negative 0.05 T, ln e. The ln of e is 1, so negative 0.05 T, ln 1/6. So that's the ln of 1/6 divided by negative 0.05. And you plug that in your calculator, and the answer comes out to be T is 35.8, and that's in minutes, and we want it to the nearest minute. So the answer to the nearest minute is 36 minutes. And again, it's a temperature problem, so I wanted to put one of these down because you do them in logs in Algebra 2, but I wanted to do another one here because I didn't do one in this unit on pre-calculus. So that's 11 marks. So if you did the formula, give yourself a mark. If you wrote this equation down, give yourself a mark. If you worked it out to 2/3, give yourself a mark. And if you did the ln and then this one, so every step here is almost working yourself down to marks. So you get the rate and you plug it back in, you get this equation and you work it to here. So that's work it through, and so you have somewhere along the line. Notice I gave 11 marks. I could have given 5 and give certain marks in certain positions, but it worked all the way through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And 11 for that page. So what you do now is total all the pages. When you have all the pages total up, go back to the first sheet, put your score over 62, convert it to a decimal, and change it to percent, and hopefully everything is going well, and you did okay on this review. So this is the last video on the logs and natural logs. And at the end, if you like my video, click the like button. If you're not a subscriber, you can click the subscribe button if you wish. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content that I have on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video was of some help to you. Bye-bye.